So let's talk a little bit about the birth of positive psychology. We'll zip through this, and we're going to talk about the 7 habits of happy people in brief. And of course, you'll be going through this during the course. And so probably today will be a sort of, today's going to, not probably, today's going to be an introduction to the structure of the course. And then during the course of the next week or 10 days, you will have a chance to absorb this information through your contributions to the forum, and also, if you can, through practical assignments. Those are the most effective when you try to put these things into practice. Even 5 or 10 minutes might make a big difference if you try to implement some of these insights. So anyway, this gentleman here is, as many of you might know, Martin Seligman. He introduced the concept of positive psychology, and when he gave a speech to the APA in 1998, the American Psychological Association, he pretty well created a revolution. And the reason why is that he boldly stated at this meeting, until now we psychologists have looked at or have focused on what makes depressed people depressed. Why don't we take a look at what makes happy people happy and use science to do that? And it was very simple, but very powerful. But he wasn't the first person to actually begin this sort of research. There are 3 pioneers in the, well, there are many pioneers actually. For those of you who've done psychology, for Séverine, you will, I pronounce your name in French, but I think you'll be well aware that the humanistic psychologists also pioneered this new interest in the study of happiness. Here I have on the screen Maslow, Csikszentmihalyi, and Martin Seligman. Abraham Maslow, we regard as one of the founders of the study of happiness because of his famous hierarchy of needs. The idea that we had a sort of pyramid of needs, and there were sort of 5 levels of needs. And first of all, we had physiological needs. We need to eat and sleep, really basic needs, and then they become a little more sophisticated. If we satisfy those, then if we're able to eat and sleep, etc., then we try to satisfy the need for security, to feel secure. Otherwise, we can't grow. Just as we can't grow with food, without food, we cannot grow with security. And once we've satisfied the need for security, then the next step is the need for love, which is very, very basic. And then the 4th step is, once we've satisfied that need, the need for self-esteem, the need to feel that we're valuable. And of course, it's very connected with love. But the reason why we regard him as a pioneer of happiness is at the very top of the hierarchy of needs. He talks about self-actualization. The idea that, once, and there are not many people in the world, I believe, who've fulfilled these 4 needs, physiological, security, love, and self-esteem. I mean, how many people do you meet who've actually, think that they are loved and sufficiently, and have a deep sense of their own value? Not so many. And Maslow argued that, that for those people that do achieve these 4 levels of need, Maslow argued that at the very top of the pyramid is the need for self-actualization, where we want to go beyond neutral. So we've been progressing from minus to neutral with the other needs. We want to be ridiculously happy. We want to have moments of intense joy. We want to lead meaningful lives. So that's why he's a pioneer of happiness. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, very difficult to pronounce. One useful tip I was given was think about your cheeks and think your cheeks send me hi. And so Csikszentmihalyi was the founder of the concept of flow. And actually on our website, you'll be able to read about, and you'll be doing assignments on all these figures. So I won't go into detail, but he basically pioneered the scientific study of happiness. Maslow didn't really base his hierarchy of needs on extensive empirical evidence, even though he had a lifetime of research behind him. Whereas Csikszentmihalyi systematically took, control groups and experimental groups and discovered that when we are involved in an activity that we love and that is challenging and creative, then we have this great sense of joy. In fact, we're so happy that we don't even realize we're happy. So we regard him to be one of these great pioneers of happiness. And then Seligman picked up on, and he admits that he was inspired by the work of Csikszentmihalyi, and he coined the word positive psychology. And he talks about, his thought is kind of complex, but for those of you who would like the cheat sheet, what are they called? Sparks Notes in America. If you want a Sparks Notes, I've given them here. There's 3 kinds of life, according to Seligman: the pleasant life, the good life, and the meaningful life. And if we understand what Seligman means by each of those 3, it's much more easy to understand the complex nature of his wonderful psychology. So those are the pioneers.